One day, we just need to roll the cameras during the breaks and play that as the show, because everybody needs to see Jeff Bromley dancing Louie Louie with the camera. Yeah, that was one of the best things we've ever seen. But we'll leave Tracy's grad date to grad night mystery, mortal enemy wearing the same dress story in the past, because we had a very spirited discussion in the newsroom yesterday that we need to complete here, because we didn't complete it, about driving and traffic and the rules of driving. Now,
I'm not sure how we're going to do this without a diagram.
Well, this is true, but so the question is, what is your biggest pet peeve of other drivers, because we are impeccable drivers at this table? What is your biggest pet peeve that other people do on the road?
Okay, so if I'm driving,
You are ready.
yes, okay, and if I'm driving and you got the double lane going one way in front of you, then you got the median, and then you got the double lane going the other way in front of you, and you're trying to get to that far side. So, usually what will happen is you'll go forward, you'll kind of position your vehicle in the median so that, traffic can still flow and whatnot, and you'll wait until it's safe to go into the other side. Well, I don't like the person that's sitting behind you and they come up into the median and they're sitting like this so that you can't see, so now you're stuck and you're waiting on this person, and
they might try to go before you.
Yes, exactly. Cutting you off, which brings in a whole other thing, which I hate being cut off too. Anyways, I'll calm down, but that is what drives me nuts.
Yes. But the person that pulled up beside you is actually doing the proper turn. Because you're supposed to turn, if you're turning left, you have to stay to your right when you're going there. You were actually just trying to, so if you were to continue onto that street, you would be hitting oncoming traffic.
Well, no, that's why you sit and wait in the middle. Right? Like you're not, you're not, because if there's a very rare time.
You did the proper turn, that guy beside
couldn't get it. Yeah, you're not far enough over.
Well, no, because really, I'm over, because
if you go too far over, then people coming this way can't get into that lane.
This is what happens.
You see why we need a diagram?
Yes, exactly.
Okay, well, all right. So here's what bugs me. We get into that same situation. You've got a person in front of you.
You got this guy.
Yeah. Anybody have a shoe?
Yeah.
So no, you come up to the intersection, and the person before you, who's going to turn left, just sits there at the line and doesn't pull up. And then, of course, as soon as the light starts to turn, they go, and then you're stuck. And 2 or 3 cars could have gone through.
Well, and I think part of the problem is that, you're right. You're right about what is proper, and then there's what just makes sense. It just makes sense to do this. And Jeff Brownlee and I think we were on our own in this argument because
no one knew what you were talking about.
Right, when it's basically just trying to make a left turn. If you're coming, if traffic's coming this way and you're going this way, and you want to go across the median, do you hug left to turn, or do you stay right? Which is, I think, legally you're supposed to stay right,
which
to the
Tracy
right.
was saying.
But if you hug left, and this person coming here hugs left, then you can both just go meow, and it's like it's seamless.
And your
but if you're both sticking to the if you're both sticking to the right, then it's like.
Yes.
That's
And that's the whole part about yielding. It should be like the zipper effect. Let one in, you go, no. And it's like stop, and people are wanting to cut in, right, instead of using that median or that emerging lane right to the very end. That's the way you're supposed to merge. Well, and not waving too.
No, I mean, on the way to work yesterday, I was driving down Waverly, and there was a woman who tried to change lanes right into another car, and it was an elderly lady who was right up at the front and could barely see over, and then she was clearly rattled because I tried to leave space for her to get in, and she just would not move. She was terrified and looked terrified, but because there was a bunch of honking, because she just about slammed right into that car. And so the question, of course, arose in my mind, and it comes up all the time, especially every time an elderly person has a terrible accident and hurts someone else. Should we be retested for licensing?
Be retesting when you're 32 years old. I cannot believe. I don't remember what happened on grad night. I certainly don't remember what was in that book when I read it when I was 15 and a half. And just all these little things. I did a 3-point turn the other day, and I think I remember learning that in driver's ed. But when I do it, people look at me like, "You can't do that," and I'm like, I think I can, but I
tried to pull it.
I don't know.
Obviously, physically, it's possible, right? So,
but I don't remember that whole book, and I really think I feel like we would all benefit from having to do a refresher.
I suppose the reason we don't is financial.
Logistics.
It would be very expensive, very difficult. But you're right. I mean, just because you drive every day doesn't mean you know how to drive properly every day, and then you're just ingraining bad habits all the time.
Yeah.
If you had to remember the good habits because you're going to be tested on them, then, you know, and I think people take driving as a right, not a privilege, right? And it's a total privilege, but people act as though it's a right. And how could they take my license away? You know, people who get caught drunk driving and get their licenses taken away grumble about it. Well,
Really?
you idiot.
Yeah.
Oh, sure.
Wow.
I mean,
that's a stupid thing to grumble about.
well, like, if you're going to be stupid enough to get
Yeah, I guess
plastered
you
behind
just-
your
yeah,
wheel,
okay,
you're probably
grumble
stupid
about
enough to
it.
grumble about it. But I mean, just the idea that, oh, you take away freedom of seniors if you made them retest. Well, if they can't drive, they can't. Their freedom is going to be gone if they kill themselves or somebody else. Like to me, it's a no-brainer. I think there's got to be a reason it's not happening larger than what any of us understand. Because you'd think it doesn't happen. I don't think it happens anywhere in the States. It doesn't happen here. I don't know
It
why.
happens I think in
Does
Europe
it?
in some places.
Okay, but Europe, see, they're a lot
Yeah,
more progressive in
it's
certain
true.
areas than
They
we
wear
And
are.
the
small
populations are
bathing
smaller.
suits.
Yeah, small bathing
Speedos,
suits,
yeah.
the Audubon.
Yeah,
you know,
exactly.
You can drink wine when you're 5.
Yeah, I can't imagine what the logistics would be of like testing everyone in the
Yeah.
baby boomer generation right now. I mean, how
Because
would
can you
even set
imagine?
that up?
Yeah, can you imagine trying to even get a road test again, or like to get in? I think the easy part would be getting in to write the exam. But if you wanted to road
Yeah,
test everybody, I think that
even
would be the hard
online,
part.
like
Yeah.
send an online thing out there so that everybody can.
Yeah.
But that's,
You have to do
I
that.
think it's the act of driving, right? Because whether you pass that
Yeah.
test or not, some of the things that you learned in
Yeah.
that book were like
Well,
not
but I think
super
there are
relevant.
some things you could learn like in theory that would help. Like my biggest pet peeve when I'm driving is when there's heavy traffic and I'm at a light and the people crossing pull into the intersection when the traffic isn't moving, so they're stuck
Yes.
through my green light in that intersection.
Yes, they're causing a
So
log
many
jam.
people do that, and it's so stupid.
But it's that to me is just selfishness.
It is, but if
Like you should be able to see. You can see there's traffic going to be coming
Yeah.
from this way. The
not
light.
enough room.
There's not enough room. It's just selfish.
I
I'm going
have
to
to
beat
admit,
that.
I'm guilty of not doing that, but when someone does that to me, I just like lay on my horn and stare at them
Yeah.
the entire time and then just go, boo.
I do it
Yeah.
too.
Sorry
Well,
about
I
that,
never.
by the way.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay.
I never.
You got the thumbs
But it's
down,
not
all
okay.
good, yeah.
I never mind when an ambulance goes by. Like the absolute confusion. People just are like, what do I do? What do I do? Or
It's a sharp left, right? Like,
blatantly
turn up.
just don't worry about it. Like they don't.
Just
They
keep
kind of
going.
turn over,
Yeah.
and then the worst for me is that the ambulance keeps going, and then they follow it.
Yeah,
Yeah.
they ride the wave.
And it's like, well, that doesn't make sense because now you're creating like a traffic jam at that intersection if there's any kind of red light and no one else has anywhere to go. I don't know. It's just
People are. Driving brings out the selfishness in a lot of people.
really
I
does.
think. You know, but if we had to get retested, I feel like a lot of people would end up taking transit. Because a lot of people would lose their licenses. You can get that license that first time because you've studied up and you've practiced, and then you just lay off and go easy on it. And then I think a lot of people would lose their licenses.
there's a solution for climate change.
Get on the bus, retesting drivers, bring it all back around to the center. I
And then
like
we
it.
can have a grad.
Yeah.
Driver's grad.
Somehow
Throw
try
that in there too.
And we'll all wear the same dress.
Oh, yes,
And I'll
thanks.
bring some mustard.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can make sure we never, ever, ever wear the same outfit as Koga. Let's just never do that. All right. Well, we all have to get back to work, everyone. So thanks for a good chat today, and we'll see you soon.